me tell you what Brock and I are going to do. I'll try to do as quick as I can. The first thing is that one of the ways to deal with the high cost of prescription drugs is to allow the federal government to negotiate the price of those drugs. This administration has a self-pay on the price. Actually, has a provision in the law in the prescription drug bill that you cannot, the federal government affirmatively cannot negotiate the cost of prescription drugs that the federal government is paying for seniors who are on the prescription drug plan. Making true the expression my grandfather used to use, remember, Joe, it is socialism for the rich and free enterprise for the poor. Okay? So one thing we're going to change. We're going to change the whole way in which we look at dealing with health care. And one of the ways to do that is every single solid, how many of you have a health care plan through your employer? Raise your hand. John McCain does have one change. John McCain, literally, I'm not making this up. It's going to sound like I'm making it up. John McCain is bought into the neoconservative economic notion that there is no distinction between a health care benefit your employer pays you and an extra dollar, Maggie, that information. So what he's proposing is he's going to change it so that if you in fact are making $50,000 a year in your health care plan, the average health care plan is worth $12,000 a year, you're now going to have to pay taxes on $62,000 instead of $50,000. What we're going to do is say to every one of you who have a health care plan, and those who you know, of you who do not, you'll be able to buy the exact same health care plan I have as the United States Senator. Myself, this is that guy who's like, here's how it works in a nutshell. Right now, the reason why you are able to get a better rate for your company is your company probably is with a larger group of people and you can negotiate better. If we have a similar plan that exists that anybody can buy into at a federal level, you're going to be able to buy into a plan where you have 20, 30, 40, 50 million people on the plan. That increases the negotiating power, driving down the cost. But no insurance company can be able to participate in selling that insurance, and it will be free enterprise, it will be not government-controlled insurance companies, unless they do three things. They have to guarantee that they will not deny people with a pre-existing condition. In fact, have preventative medicine that exists, that is in part of the policy. Right now, the insurance company, if you have insurance, your company will pay, God forbid, to have your foot amputated because you have diabetes, but they will not pay, and they're tens of thousands of dollars, they will not pay for you to go see a dietitian to prevent that from happening in the first place. So there's a lot of minimal conditions that in order to participate in these plans that the insurance companies are going to have to sign on to. And I promise they will with a pool of 30 or 40 million people. They will compete. This is about competition. We need competition. I'm a free enterprise guy. Competition. And so the second thing I point out to you is you'll be able to, in the existing health care plan, we're going to close that donut hole in the prescription drug process. You're going to be able to allow the federal government to then negotiate, just like the VA does. The reason you can get an aspirin cheaper at the VA than you can in your Medicare is the VA has 17 million people, and they say to the company, look, we're not going to, I'm making the number up, we're not going to spend $1.50 for this aspirin, we're going to spend $1.25. You can either sell it to us or not. Guess what? Companies will compete to sell 17 million worth of doses of aspirin. And so this is what we're going to do. We're going to use the existing system. And people who can't afford to buy into the system, we're going to allow up to 800% of poverty. It's a fancy Senate kind of phrase to say people making up to $80,000 in a family of 4 raising 2 kids, they can get some help getting in. And people who can't get in, we will subsidize them getting in. Why? It will save everybody money. The last point I want to make. How many of you here are business people? Raise your hand. Have young businesses, small businesses, big business. Guess what? What's the biggest problem you have competing abroad? The biggest problem you have competing abroad is every country we compete in with companies from those companies, they all have some some form of national health insurance covering everybody. But right now, you've got to carry the whole load in your company. You've got to carry it all. And so when I was just in Missouri, they closed down a couple auto plants, just like my auto plants. They closed down the Chrysler minivan plant, and they moved that Chrysler minivan plant to Ontario, Canada. Now, why did they do it, Doc? There's a simple reason why they did it. They moved it there because, not because the labor's cheaper, same UAW people are building it. UAW union people are building it. Same product, same everything. Why did they move it there? Because they can sell that minivan for 14% less because Canada has a national health care system and General Motors or Chrysler doesn't have to pay the whole bill. So this is a place where conscience and convenience cross paths. We're going to make sure you get your get your prescription drugs in an affordable way. We're going to make sure every single American in America has access to